Hello everyone, good morning. So, today we are going to start with a new chapter, that is the sixth chapter, staffing. And after going through the chapter, you will be able to understand about the staffing, its meaning and concept, characteristics, need and importance, then staffing process, and aspects of staffing or components of staffing. So, let's begin with the chapter, that is the sixth chapter, staffing. So, as you know, the foundation of any organization is the talented and the hardworking people, and they are only called as the principal assets of the firm. Why is it so? Because if the other resources like financial resources, natural resources, raw materials, everything will be there, and no human will be there to perform the work or to do any work, then it won't be of any use. The resources will not be of any use. That's why these people only, they are only called as principal assets of the firm. So it is an established fact that the growth of any organization requires the infusion of quality staff. If the company wants to grow, then obviously there is a need of the quality staff. Thus, adequate staffing or the provision for the appropriate human resource, it is an essential requirement for any organization success. If the company wants to grow, if the company wants to achieve success, then obviously they should have the right people for a right job. Understood. It is therefore believed that an organization can achieve its objective only when it has the right person in the right position. So, staffing, it is considered with the recruitment, selection, placement, training, growth, and development of the members of the organization. So, in this chapter later, you will be learning about recruitment, selection, placement, and all these things. Okay, so as you can see here, right person, right job, right time. Staffing is the process of putting a right person on a right job at a right time. Understood? So, after planning and selection of the organizational structure, the two chapters which you have already done. So, after performing those two functions, the next step in the management is to fill the post provided in the organization, and this is only termed as staffing. So, in the simplest terms, staffing is putting people to the job. It begins with the workforce planning and includes different other functions like, as I already told you, recruitment, selection, and training, and so many other things also. So, in other words, staffing is that part of the process of management which is concerned with obtaining, utilizing, and maintaining a satisfactory workforce. And in a new enterprise, the staffing function allows the planning and organizing functions. Understood? It only follows the planning and organizing function, means once the planning and organizing function has been performed, then only the staffing function can be done. So, after deciding what is to be done, how is to be done, and after creation of the structure, organization structure, the management is the position. It is in the position now to know about the HR requirements, that is human resource requirements of the enterprise. Understood? So, this is only staffing. Planning has been done, organizational structure has been formed. Now it's the time to fulfill the right person on a right job. Now, the next topic after understanding the meaning of staffing is importance of staffing. So, the first importance of staffing is competent personnel or filling jobs with the competent personnel. So, staffing includes manning the organizational structure through proper recruitment and selection procedure. It helps in discovering and obtaining the competent personnel for various jobs in the organization. The one who is suitable for a particular job is told to work on a proper department or on the unit. Understood? Then the second one is higher performance or the better performance. Performance of any organization, as I told you, depends upon the quality of the persons who are employed. Understood? So the staffing function, it is very significant or very important to ensure higher performance by putting the right man on a right job. Then the third importance, survival and growth. Staffing, it is also important for other managerial functions also. So organization as a whole, it performs better with the right type of people. So once the right type of people are provided with the right training and the development to the future, then only it will lead to the survival and growth of the organization. Then the next we have optimum utilization of human resources. It's very obvious, if somebody will be placed on a particular job which is according to his qualification, then obviously he is going to give his 100%, and that will be, then only it will be called as optimum utilization of human resources or a person. So proper manpower planning, recruitment, selection, all this will help the organization procure the right quality and the quantity of human force. Then next we have job satisfaction. Okay, so the process of staffing, it provides for right kind of work environment and culture to employees. So the objective assessment and fair rewarding for their contribution, it improves their job satisfaction and morale. So these were some of the importance of staffing: competent person, higher performance, survival and growth, optimum utilization of HR, and job satisfaction. Then next we have features of staffing. The first feature is important managerial function. Important managerial function means it deals with the people. That is, why is it called important? Because other than planning, organizing and all the functions, it is most important, because until and unless no people will be placed, no person will be placed on a job, when there is no use of any other resource. Got it? Then it is pervasive. Why is it pervasive? Because it is required everywhere. It's not like that you can place the particular person on a particular department and then your work is over. No. In each and every department, in each and every level, in each and every unit, there is a requirement or there is a need of person or personnel. Understood? Then it is continuous. Why is it continuous? Because it continues throughout the life of organization. One will retire, one will get transferred. That obviously that place has to be filled. Then placement. As you are doing since beginning, placement, placing the right people on a right job, that is only placement. So these were some of the features of staffing. Then let me tell you, this staffing as a part of human resource management has been deleted. It has been removed, so no need to learn this part has been deleted, so you can leave that. Understood? Then step in staffing process. The first step is estimating the manpower requirement. Estimating the manpower requirement, as you can see, planning the number of employees required and their qualifications. The first thing the top level managers have to do is they have to estimate, they have to calculate that how many employees are needed in which particular departments or the level. So performance of each job necessitates the appointment of a person with a specific set of educational qualifications, skills, everything. So this is the time where they have to plan that how many employees are needed, how many employees are required, with what sort of skills and qualification or for a particular job. Then recruitment. The two things are there, recruitment and selection, so you should listen it properly. In recruitment, after determining the requirement of staff, once we have calculated that these many number of employees are needed, the next step is recruitment. So it is the process of searching for and securing applicants for the various job positions which arise from time to time in the organization. Now it's the time for searching for the prospective employees. Understood? So for this purpose, the organization is to locate the sources and availability of the prospective candidates, and they have to publicize the specific personal needs so as to inform and induce the people to apply for the job positions. As you are reading in the newspapers, magazines, online, you can read that the various recruitments are there for a job. So that is recruitment. There you are coming to know about the jobs. Okay, so that is only recruitment. So there are two sources for the recruitment, internal or external recruitment. We will be discussing it later. Okay, understood what is recruitment? when you are seeing the advertisement about the jobs, when you are coming to know about the job, so who is telling you about, who is publicizing about it? The company. So that is recruitment process. When they are calling the people for the job, that is recruitment. Then selection, selecting from among the applicants. Selection is the process where the most suitable candidates from all the applicants are chosen. As I told you, in the recruitment process we are calling everyone. It doesn't mean that whosoever will come will give them the job, the company will give them the job. So here what has to be done, the people, those who have applied for the job, now it's the time, or it's the duty of the organization now to choose the best one out of all of them. So much information has to be obtained, analyzed and evaluated from the prospective candidates to facilitate the selection process. Okay, we have to get all the information about them, like their qualifications, their work experience, age, level of skills, accomplishments, aptitudes, everything. Got it? Then placement and orientation. The next step is placement and orientation. So once the selected candidate eventually joins the organization, now recruitment and selection process is done, we have selected the people for the job. Now after they join the organization, he has to be placed in the job for which he is selected. Understood? In some cases, when 2 or more alternative positions are to be filled, the selected candidate is sought to be placed in the job to which he is more suited by virtue of his qualification and experience. Okay. So orientation is the process of introduction of the new employee to the organization. There he is given the information on matters such as under whom and with whom he will be working, requirements of the job performance, his behavior, facilities, everything. So that is placement and orientation, familiarizing the person with the organization. Understood? Placement, placing him on a particular job, and orientation, familiarizing him with the job, with the employees, with the superior, everyone. Then next we have training and development. It is an important element. Training, it is an important element of staffing function. Why? Because it is the process of helping the employees to acquire more knowledge of the job and to learn or sharpen the needed skills. It's very obvious, if somebody is coming in the job, then obviously he might be having the various qualifications, he might be having the experience of working in some another job, but now since he is coming to the new company, this is the time where he need to be trained for a particular job, for a particular company, according to the criteria, according to the needs of the company. Understood? So here he need to be trained. And development, it focuses on the general improvement of the overall personality of the employee. So the aims of development tend to be more general, and sometimes it's very unclear as well. The next step is performance appraisal. It refers to checking on the performance of the employees. It is then similar to the maintenance of record about the performance of school students and the periodical reporting to the parents of the people. Understood? So in a business also, it is very essential that there is a record of the performance, so that first thing, they can know the weak area of the performance. Second, the employers can decide the necessary action against those who do not comply with the standards. Third, the employers can decide the training needs. And the fourth, the employer can judge the employees. So this is overall the means preparing the result, whether the person who has been placed on a job, whether is he performing according to the needs of the company or not. If he is not, then obviously either he will be removed or he will be provided with some training or etc. Then next we have promotion. It means moving an employee to the higher job. Promotion and transfer, they are different. Transfer is from one department to another in the same level. Promotion, transfer, or moving an employee from one level to another according to his working capacity. Okay, if he is going to work efficiently and his appraisal report is excellent, then obviously he need to be promoted. And sometimes a worker may not fit into his job in a particular department, then he is transferred to other department. Got it? Thus, career planning includes promotion, transfer, and demotion of personnel based on the performance appraisal. And the last one we have compensation. Compensation, it refers to all forms of pays or rewards given to the employees. Okay, like direct financial payments, What are direct financial payments now? The wages, salaries, commissions, which is directly given. Then indirect payments like vacations, employers' contribution to the social securities like LIC, Provident Fund, all these things. So a major problem for an organization is to match a person's compensation with his contribution. So it should be fair and provide incentives to the employees. So after going through all this, we see that as a process, staffing includes acquisition, retention, and the development of the most important resource of organization, that is its human capital. Understood? Now, aspects or elements of staffing. Basically, we have three basic steps or three important aspects of staffing. They are recruitment, selection, and training. So let's start with the first one, that is recruitment. So recruitment means the process under which different sources for future employees are searched and they are motivated to apply by sending the applications for their selection in the job. So it is a positive steps which aims at attracting number of candidates to apply for the given job. Why is it positive? Because all those means whosoever wants to apply can apply according to their qualifications needed. So the higher the number of people who will apply for a job, the higher will be the possibility for getting a suitable employee. Then next is sources of recruitment. As I told you, recruitment, it is divided into two, external and internal. So external recruitment, first is internal, that can be, first one is transfer. As I told you, transfer is done from within the same level. When one person is transferred from one level to one department to another in the same level, that is transfer. Understood? So these are some of the features. Slight changes in the duties, filling the job positions, horizontal movement. Horizontal movement means that only in the same level. It can be applied for training of employees. If the superior wants that the employees, those who are working under them, they should learn something new, then they can be transferred to another place. Then does not increase the number of employees in the organization. Then next we have promotion. Promotion, as I already told you, it is from one level to another or one position to higher position. Okay, so no increase in the number of employees, vertical shifting and motivation. Then advantages of internal sources. Sense of security. The person will be aware of this, that his job is secure, he is not going to be removed. Then loyalty, builds loyalty among the employees. They will be more loyal. They will be knowing now we won't be removed from the job, so they will be more loyal towards the employees as well as the organization. They'll get motivated. If they'll get promoted, then obviously they are going to get motivated. Economical source of recruitment. It will require less amount or less cost for placing the person. Employment continuity. The person who is already working in the organization, will continue the job. Then the training and all these costs will be reduced. Okay, he will be only placed to some another place. Better relations with others. How? When one person will be transferred or promoted to some another place, then obviously he is going to join or coordinate with other employees, and then he is going to have a better relation with each and every one. Then surplus and shortage rectified. If there is a surplus in one department, then that can be filled by taking one person from another department which is already filled. So shortage can be filled easily. Then tool for training. It is a tool for training to prepare the employees. As I told, when one will be transferred, then obviously he is going to learn something new. So these were some of the advantages. Disadvantages: no infusion of new blood. The company, the organization is not going to get the fresh talent. Lethargic. While working on the same department or on the same level, it's obvious that the organization, the employees are going to be lethargic or lazy. Okay. Then limited number of qualified employees. no new employment, no new recruitment, no new selection, and obviously the same number of employees which were working earlier, they are only going to work there. No spirit of competition. As he'll become lethargic, as will become lazy, he won't be feeling of working, and then obviously he's going to hampers the spirit of competition. No innovation. The one who has been already working in the organization since so many years, obviously he's not going to, or whatever ideas he is going to bring, every time it's not going to be new. So no innovation. Then favoritism and partiality. Sometimes it may happen the superiors, they used to do the partiality by placing that person only, or who is favorite of his, by placing that person only into some another level. Okay. Reduction in productivity. Once he'll become lethargic, he won't be feeling that any competition is there, then obviously it's going to reduce the productivity. So these were some of the disadvantages. So external sources of recruitment. Now, it refers to the recruitment of candidates from outside the organization. Internal we have done, now it's the external one. Direct recruitment. Direct, we are directly publishing it on the notice board of the enterprise. Okay. Then casual callers from waiting list. Waiting list, we are not calling anyone from outside. We have already called for example, last year we had done this, and last year's applications which we have got, we are already having those applications. So from that we are going to call the person for the selection. Then advertisement. Given the advertisements in the newspaper, in the magazines, online, all this. Then employment exchange. It is run by the government. You might have heard about Rozgar Yojana and all this. Okay. So they are having the details of the person. So we can get the contacts of these person, those who are suitable for the particular job. We can come to know about their qualifications, skills and everything. And from there we can get the personnel. Then placement agencies. Same as the employment exchange, we have placement agencies also, and the personal consultants. These placement agencies, they have the contact of the various people, those who are applying for the jobs, for the various jobs, and the company used to provide them with the requirements. Whatever requirements are there, they used to provide it to the placement agencies. The placement agencies used to match the requirements with the one which they are already having with them of the personnel. So they'll match both of them, and if they'll find that they are suitable, then they will give it to the company. Understood? Campus interviews, you all know about this. They are going to the colleges, universities and all to select the particular employees directly for the job. Recommendation of the present employees. If somebody recommends that my relative is suitable for a particular job, then that is also considered as direct. Labor contractors. You all know about this. The contractors, they keep in touch with a large number of workers and then bring them at the places where they are required. Advertising on television, same as the online method. Web publishing, this is online method. There you can apply for the job by filling your details like email ID and everything, and then you can get the jobs. The job seekers, they will come to know about you and they will call you for the job. So these were some of the external sources of recruitment. Advantages: qualified and the experienced personnel. The one who had been already working in some company, you will get them, and then obviously is going to be experienced one, more qualified one. Wider choice. Here you will get the better choice. In case of internal, you are not getting any choice because you are going to place them within the organization only, you are doing it. Okay, but here you are getting the wider choice. Fresh talent. Fresh talent, why? Because the one who is coming, he's coming from the outside, he's not within the organization. Competitive spirit. Obviously the one who is going to join the business very new, very freshly, if he is going to be very fresh, obviously he is going to work competitively as compared to another one who had been working since many years. So these were some of the advantages. Disadvantages: dissatisfaction and frustration among the existing employees. those who had already been working, the people, those who had already been working there in the organization, they will not like that some another employees from another company should come to their organization and work in their place. They don't want to see the new one. Time consuming. Obviously, it's going to take more time. In case of internal, it's just a process of shifting one from one place to another. But here, it's going to include all the steps: recruitment, selection, training, placement. So it's time consuming, very costly. Obviously, if you are going to do the online or advertisements or taking the help of televisions, then it's going to be costly. It's going to include more expenses. Uncertainty. Those who are already working, they are going to be more capable, or that is there you are more certain that he is going to work like this. But here you don't know about the person who has been appointed, so you cannot be certain that whether he is going to work according to your needs or not. Internal versus external sources. This internal quick process, external lengthy process. Internal less expensive, external costly. Internal motivates the existing, external existing workers dissatisfied. Internal limited choice, external wide choice. Then comes selection process. Selection, on the other hand, it is a negative process. Okay, why? Because in which a person which is selected or who is selected and the others are rejected. So it aims at selecting the most reliable person or rateable person out of the candidates who have applied for the job. So this is the recruitment and selection difference. Recruitment, searching for the candidates; selection, choosing the right person. Recruitment is positive, selection is negative. Recruitment aims to create a large pool of applicants. Selection, ensure the most competent one. Recruitment is simple, selection is complex.